You keep hearing that AI is going to change your life, buy you more time, make you more money, do your work for you, but so far, for most people, it's done none of that. It answers some questions, yes, like a slightly better version of Google, but that's about it. Let me show you someone it's actually working for. My client Jill, he's 55, he's in a full-time job, and his account mostly runs by itself. His posts have pulled in over 77 million views, and that's in a single year. He's doing it with Claude, the same AI that everyone's playing around with. The difference comes down to one thing: a shift in how he uses it. And it only takes about 10 minutes to copy. I'm gonna show you exactly what Jill did, how we set it up, and how you can do it yourself. It completely changes how much a person can get done in a single day. You don't need to be technical for any of this. Jill wasn't. He started with a very small audience and zero background in any of this online world. If you can write an email, you've got all the skills you need. Timing's the other concern, that everyone's got in early, all the money's been made, and it's too late. Let me tell you something, we're not even close. Here's what I want you to picture. You wake up in the morning, open your laptop or your computer, and the boring stuff takes up minutes of your day. Your posts went out overnight, the rest you hand over to Claude, and it's pretty much done before your coffee gets cold. Not by a team you're paying, but by a system that you set up once. Now, the honest bit, if you never set this up, nothing changes. And the timing here really matters, because just a couple of years ago, doing this took a whole lot of money, a team, and skills that most of us didn't have. Not anymore. One person with the right setup can do what used to take 10, and almost nobody is properly ahead. That's a head start, but it's not gonna last forever. Quick bit on me first. I'm Alex. I spent pretty much my 20s in corporate sales and marketing jobs in London in the UK. None of it was terrible, it just wasn't really where I wanted to be for the rest of my life. So in 2020, I bet on myself and I started freelancing my marketing skills to small businesses and personal brands. Now I run a one-person business from Thailand, no office, just me, a laptop, and systems doing most of the work. The biggest proof of what those systems can do is Jill's account, and I'll get to his story properly in just a minute. First, the tool itself. Chances are you've already tried Claude. Most people have. It's a bit like ChatGPT, but if you haven't, here's the easiest way to picture it. Claude's like an assistant that can take a job from start to finish. Research something properly, write down things that sound like you, read a spreadsheet and tell you what matters in it. All of that for about $20 a month. Let me show you what I mean. You ask it a real question, like, what do people hate about robot vacuums under $200? It goes off and reads Reddit reviews, Amazon reviews, forums, YouTube comments. It practically browses the whole online space. Then it comes back with patterns, what everyone's complaining about, what people keep recommending, the feature nobody uses, and not just shopping. This applies to anything like starting a business. It'll tell you who's in your niche, what they're charging, and what their customers are saying. That's the kind of research companies pay consultants thousands for, and you can get it in minutes now. One thing I'd say, download the desktop app. Don't just use a browser, because that's what you're gonna need for this. That's the tool, but Jill's numbers didn't come from the tool. They came from how we used the tool to achieve certain results. So that one thing I mentioned at the start, here it is. Jill stopped using Claude like Google and started treating Claude like someone he'd hired. You set it up once, then for any job, you hand it what you've got, and you ask it for the next thing. Post ideas, reading your numbers, writing your emails, whatever's in front of you that day, whatever's on the to-do list. That's the shift Jill made. If it sounds too simple, here's what it did for the account. When we started, Jill sat at around 3,000 followers, posting away, but not really knowing exactly what he was doing. He had no strategy. The first thing we did We gave Claude all the data. We downloaded his full analytics report from Twitter, or X as they call it these days. And that's the file with every single post, how it performed, and all the details regarding that post. Reach, likes, replies, all of it. And here's where people usually get it wrong. They just summarize. They tell it, my short posts seem to do all right, and that's it. Don't do that. Hand it the raw data and let Claude find the pattern. It's much better at doing that than any of us. And it spotted something that we kind of missed. His 2-line posts, the short and punchy ones, were pulling in way more reach than anything else. So we did more of those. The data said it, Claude found it, and we ran with it. And that was just the first pass. The numbers that you saw in my thumbnails are from doing that over and over and over again. That's the part coming in a minute. But first, the setup that makes this possible, because without this setup, none of it works. Okay, right now the awkward bit. So this is my first video on this YouTube channel. Asking you to subscribe feels like proposing on a first date. If it's useful at all, please hit subscribe anyway. Every early subscriber tells YouTube to show this video to more people. I'd really appreciate. Now let's continue. Right, now the setup that makes it all work. Most people open Claude and start asking it things completely cold. It doesn't know them, so the answers come out generic. Vague in, vague out. Two things fix that. First, the instructions. These are the rules you give it once. Who you are, what you do, how you want it to work, how it should sound. You write that down one time and you never have to re-explain yourself again. Second, the memory file. This is a living document of the facts of your business, your offer, your audience, your story, the decisions you've made. And Claude reads this every time, so nothing gets lost between chats. And you keep updating this document as things change. The more current that file is, the sharper Claude gets, because it knows your situation. This isn't theory. The video you're watching, this one right here, is planned and written with Claude. That's why the script sounds like me. If you're just starting out and this all sounds like a lot, don't overthink it. Your first message to Claude could go something like this. I want you to act as my assistant and work on my business with me. Here's who I am, here's what I do, here's who I'm trying to reach. From now on, when I give you data or a task, use all of this and ask me any questions if you need to. That last line matters. Which brings me to the best move in this entire video. Here's the part that gets you out of your own head. You don't even need to know the right questions to ask it. That's what stops a lot of people in the first place. They'll sit there with a blank box thinking, what do I ask Claude? I don't even know where to start. So don't. Tell Claude what you're trying to do and then say, interview me, and it'll pull a plan out of you, one question at a time. You're not staring at a blank page anymore. You're just answering questions about your own thing, something you should be able to do all day. That's literally how I made this video. Claude interviewed me, and the script came out of my answers. Back to Jill. The setup is what you do once. This next part is what you keep doing, and that's what grew Jill's account. About every 2 to 3 weeks, same routine. New export, new numbers, straight back into Claude. What's working now? What's gone flat? What do we do next? And it all stacks up, because the more you work with it, the more it knows you and the better the answers get. So the better it got, the more jobs we gave it. Post ideas in his voice, breaking down why one post took off and another didn't, and turning the winners into his weekly newsletters, because we already know that that idea worked. Same assistant, different jobs. And the only other tool we used was Tweet Hunter, which is simply a scheduling tool. It would just send out the posts automatically while Jill was sleeping or at work, so he didn't have to worry about any of that. Here's where Jill's at now. He's still in his full-time job, but he's got 37,000 followers on X. His posts have pulled in over 77 million views in just a year of posting. On top of that, it's already making him money. over $5,000 so far just from Twitter paying him for his reach. And now he's about to launch his first digital product on the back of his audience. The whole thing more or less runs itself. Claude does the thinking, Tweet Hunter does the scheduling and the posting. Jill just manages it like a CEO. Remember that morning I had you picture? The boring half of your day done in minutes? Well, that's Jill's everyday now. There's nothing extremely special about Jill, but he just set things up in the right way. And this whole story is really just that one thing from the start. Treat Claude like someone you hired. Set it up, hand it your data, ask it what to do next, on repeat. It will act as a thinking partner. That doesn't mean that it has to make every single decision. Now, I trust that most people watching this have some common sense, so treat it as a partner, not as your boss. This isn't just a Twitter trick or a social media thing. Say you run a bar or a little coffee shop. Hand Claude every single review you've ever had, Google reviews, Facebook, and literally 2 minutes later, it'll come back with the complaint that keeps coming up and what to fix first. Then get it to draft a reply to all of them or rework your menu based on what you found. Same move. Give it your data, ask the right questions. Jill's thing was Twitter. Yours might be a newsletter, YouTube, a shop, a service, whatever it is. Same principle. And it's exactly what I'm doing right here on this channel. From zero. That's the system behind the 77 million views, one person, and a system that takes about 10 minutes to set up. One thing before I go, and I actually want to know this, what's the first job you'd hand over to Claude if you had this running already? Admin, content, research, mails, just whatever it is, drop it in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And you know that morning I described at the beginning of the video, it's there for anyone to take, man, honestly. But it won't come from watching more videos. It'll come from just spending 10 minutes to set this up. Subscribe if you want to watch me build this from nothing, and I hope to be seeing you soon in the next one.